Hey everyone, it's Patron Bogad. It's late in the evening where I'm at, but I still wanted to take the time to speak with you guys because I love you all. This is what I like to do. The cult is obviously what we live for, is what we love to listen to and talk about it. It's just family. We're here just about to get into a discussion about how could I find my patron or my guardian daemon or my guardian angel, spirit animal, or even and the list goes on. It's really the same shit but different titles, different names. They're used interchangeably. There's notable differences and things of that nature, but it really does depend on the perception of that individual. I mean, here I am, and my guardian, my patron, my spirit animal is Satan. You know what I mean? Which remind me, I recently saw like this little coffee mug that said, "Satan is my spirit animal." I laughed so hard. I kid you not. It was like the most hilarious thing in the world. But it made a fair point. It really, really did. It's all about perception. Who is your patron? You know, but of course, I wanted to answer that. Not that I'm with you per se, one on one, but I will still try to answer it nonetheless. But let's talk about this. How is it that we could actually find our guardian daemon? Well, the good thing that I would say is for the rest of us, especially in a prosperous country like America, we have the internet. And with that said and done, that's like almost half the battle. But the only thing that I like to precaution people about that is we need to be aware of the fact that people like to give misinformation. You have, and again, I'm not bashing no major religion, but it's just what it is, and this is what they do. But not all. I'm just saying those who are just very zealous, to put it lightly. They put on their websites, just very nasty misconceptions about, the demonic. But if ever you want to do so, do it. But be cautious. I would also be cautious about looking at the sigils of these particular daemons that are on these particular sites, because um how can I put this? You have certain sigils that are like very well known. They're popularized, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you can use it. But an alternative would be, if you were to get in contact with your spirit guide, and I'm going to get in a little bit into that on how you could do that. But if you were to ask your guardian, or your patron, what is their sigil, they could actually give it to you by lucid dreams or even visions. I remember with my guardian, archangel Gabriel, I said in one of my previous videos that he actually taken the time to give me his sigil, something very identical to his own. And I remember going online, and as I was looking at the hierarchy of the Goetia, a particular voice came, within me, within my mind, and it said, "It's not of the Goetia. Try angelic." And mind you, I've never worked with the angelic forces before, so I shrugged my shoulders and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I did it, and I'm just looking through the archangels, and I saw Archangel Gabriel, and I was taken back by it. So I drew his sigil, or should I say, his sigil was in my mind. I drew it, and then I tried to look online and compare. And then what I did was that I contacted him, and the interesting thing about that is he responded with a very, very powerful vision. And again, it was according to my perception of Gabriel, or how I would view angels as a whole. And mind you, when I was much younger than what I am now, I'm talking about like I was 20. I ended up, being a Christian at that time, and I remember, angels, having these all white togas and, you know, the whole spiel. But this particular angel appeared to me, and Gabriel actually came to me in a Roman um, century armor, like he was going to war or something with a sword with huge wings, and he was like coming from the sky, and I thought that was like pretty cool, and I was like, wow, that's awesome, and that's one way. But of course, I've been doing this for a while, and I'm not saying like it's not gonna happen to you, but it's just one of those things where if you're really new and you're asking the question because you really want to know, um, obviously you should go through one of the first steps that I mentioned on the outset of this video, and that's simply just to basically go online and look at who resonates with you so that you could get the best out of your spiritual experience, because um, it's your life, man, and it's something that you want to personalize. But let's say, for example, I'm gonna just make this up. Let's say, for example, you wanted to make contact with the Lucifer, and you saw his sigil, and even though you have like that holy grail looking sigil with the V in the middle of it, which is quite universal. And he may not give you like his own personal sigil. What I mean by that, let me explain. Let me sound intelligent when I speak. But what I'm trying to say is like he may not do the same process as Gabriel did for me. Like he gave you his sigil in your mind, but he may even direct you to a website or a sigil that he wants you to draw yourself. I mean, it could be anything. But the idea is that as you making contact with Lucifer, I still feel that as you make contact with them, before you do so, try to learn some banishing rituals, warding rituals, um, even how can I put this? I would even try to interview that particular spirit, and the reason being is that you have these spirits that tend to masquerade as others, and actually absolutely not the one that you want to speak to, and that's when you get into a lot of trouble in your life, because you actually invited something that could very well be of great harm to you, like an astral parasite, and you just give up your will to this particular entity, and that's not good. And then bad shit happens all around the house and the family and things of that nature. I could also say pick up like dragon sage, dragon blood. I'm kind of like my mind is scrambled here because I'm trying to really think of on the spot right now what I could actually recommend. But the idea is before you even make contact, make sure that you know what you're doing, because you want to be safe. I do not want to advertise any sort of foul play, because I don't want anyone from my channel or just visiting and wanting to pretty much learn on how to pick out a patron for themselves to get injured. It's not cool. It's not loving. I'm not a charlatan. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this because I want publicity. I want fame or anything like that. But I want you to actually really get the best out of this video so that it could actually work out for you positively. I want good experiences, not bad ones. Now, another possible way you could, let's say, be on the lookout, if you will, of a particular daemon is your own emotions. I'm serious. Be on the lookout for your own emotions, because let's say you done all the stuff I just said. That's like first step. Make sure that it's safe and you know who you're speaking to. You can even interview that particular spirit by, you know, writing out first what it is that you are requesting of this particular daemon, right? And then you just fold it up, and then you have that particular spirit guess what you have written down, and only you will know it and see what they say, right? But that's me going back to the first part because I didn't feel I explained it well enough. But the second part, I personally feel is your own emotions. And the reason being is that sometimes when we make contact with a particular spirit, this particular spirit may bump heads with you, clash of personality due to energy. They may be very, very high in vibration and you may be very low. And they may be quite forthright and you may not even like that at all. Um, that's why those are like some of the reasons that I could think of that people would end up not wanting to continue on with that invocation is because of that very point. Because you think about your emotions is what drive you, and if you're not spiritually connected and you don't feel as if like they're not going to be on the same level on you or the same vibration, it's like then what's the point? Sometimes they won't even make contact with you. And that's why I'm saying emotionally you have to be really balanced. Don't be that individual that has their head in the clouds in a spiritual sense, and you're doing this just because you just have this immature point of view of matters. You know what I mean? It's like you want to make sure that you're being pragmatic and realistic. And emotionally, if they respond in a way that you don't like it, you gotta still be respectful. You could end that the ritual and then go about your business. Try someone else. But that's what they say, and this is the third step. You have to be how can I put this? You have to make sure like they resonate with you. That's why I say emotionally, your emotions is in connection with this third step as well. Because if you actually jumped the gun and you wrote out his the sigil and you thought he was just cool and emotionally you're not up for it, and then you just felt like whatever, meaning it didn't really resonate with you, you're just doing this for the sake of doing it, then it's not going to work out that way. It's like you looking at my channel right now. You're looking at my video. You don't like my information and it doesn't resonate with you. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to either do the dislike and you're going to end up going to a different channel because it's just you don't resonate with the individual, right? So that's why it's good to make sure that they resonate with you, so that that's like a good indicator. Put it that way. It's a good indicator that says that this is most likely a good patron for you, and then you could be more safe than putting your emotions into it, and then you could write out that sigil. And that's also when you do research. I'm just going through what we developed here throughout the evening here. The first, second, and third step. Getting to know them. And and then from there we know that's step one. You write down the sigil and you do your research. You want to make sure that's good. It's okay with you. Your emotions are in check. And the reason why I feel that's a good step is because when I did my invocation, I made damn well sure that my head is not in the clouds. I'm grounded and I'm being realistic in what I'm asking and what I'm expecting of that particular daemon. Because if I have this imagination that it has to be some sulfur and smoke, coming out of whatever, then it's like that's not, how it works. So in other words, be balanced in your thinking. And then of course, and lastly, like I said, your emotions have to be there. Now, my last step would be whatever it is that you ask for that particular daemon, especially if it's a service. I gave a video on that about being gratitude or showing gratitude for the services that the daemon has done for you. Is that after you make your pack and you've pretty much met with your daemon, make sure that as you are closing up that particular ritual, that you just show gratitude. You know, I kind of just alluded to it. It's like they're doing something that, um, you know, depending on the ritual, either it's something that's really big, you know, they're changing your life. So they may ask for something multiple times. They may, you know, it won't be anything that you can't do. It's something that, um, how can I put this? You should always agree to something that you can do. Don't agree to something that you can't. You know, that's very important because you agree to something that you can't. You have to realize, depending on the patron that you actually invoke or even evoke, you have to realize that most of the daemons were ancient gods of, you know, in ancient times, and they're very powerful. That's why certain demonologists, when they look at daemons, they know just like that, that as they look at a particular name, they were very powerful gods or goddesses. And that's why certain people that know the daemons very well would call them like still the divine, but the demonic divine, because they really did come from a very beautiful place and time where they weren't demonized as they are now before Abrahamic religions got to them. You know, they were very beautiful. You know, even if you look at just in part, you know, in certain Bible scriptures, you have like Baal, you have Baal of Peor, and things of that nature. They go under other aliases, you know, today just for their own protection because of very bad spiritual abuse, you know. And I'm talking about like, you know, the 9 foot circles and trying to hurt them by, you know, supposed, you know, Abrahamic holy names, angelic names, and that's not cool. And I'm not down for that, because how would I like it if someone wants to beat me and then ask me, demand me of my services? It's not going to bode very well. So that's why you need to make sure that you're not doing that as well, because remember, you're showing gratitude. So you could show your gratitude by offering something. It could be a piece of jewelry, a food offering, or whatever. And sometimes they could go ahead and tell you, because I know I've offered a lot of, you know, just whatever to Satan every now and then. But it's been about 3 times that he came to me and he asked me what he wanted, and I agreed upon it, and I just did just that. I've given him that, and I didn't have a problem. You know, I've given it to him, and things are still going well, and I'm still moving closer to my manifestation. You know, that's something that I want you guys to appreciate within yourselves when you're doing all these steps, these the safe practices. And with that said and done, just make sure that as you meditate on what's being said, um, try not to get too hanged up on what's out there on the internet. And the reason being is that, like I said earlier in the beginning of this video, it's not a good thing where you look at a misspelling of a particular daemon. Either they do it to slander them, or they do it because it's simply just a misspelling and it's no harm done. And over the many years, you know, people get, you know, confused with a particular ancient goddess, and now it's demonized. And now, you know, the idea is that you want to be mindful, but that's why you're going to compare and you're going to contrast on what's actually going to resonate with you. That will be a good indicator that you picked the right one. Okay, and I wish I could personally be there with you guys as individuals, but you know, it's YouTube, so this video could only do so much. You know, it could just do so much. You know, so with that said, you know, I don't want to keep on babbling on and on and on, look like an idiot, but I'm gonna end it here. And I love you guys. I really, really do. Thank you for watching. Thank you. This is what I do for fun. This is what I do because it's, you know, it's my way of helping you. It's my life's purpose. It's my true will to practice witchcraft and to help individuals and to move closer to that manifestation that you constantly hear me talk about all the time. So guys, please subscribe if you like the video. Please like it as well. And please make sure that you look at my other spiritual lessons within my playlist, and stay tuned for other spiritual knowledge that I have going for you guys. Love you guys. Peace. Bye.